They have, and they haven't been revealing very many details about that individual. We're trying to establish the relationship between that individual and the young child, but what I can show you right now is the scene, and behind us we still have some police tape here, but we've also got a child's car seat left behind, a pair of small blue shoes, and of course that vehicle that had to have its windows smashed in order to attempt to rescue the child. Now, while few details are still known about exactly what happened, how this all played out, residents are absolutely disturbed by what's taken place.
Tragic, absolutely tragic.
Residents of this Etobicoke apartment are shaken. The loss of a young boy left in a hot vehicle, prompting many to ask why.
I don't know how long the child was there, but you shouldn't leave the child unattended, not even for 30 seconds.
This resident tells Global News she was out with her grandchild when the superintendent of the building pulled a little boy still strapped into his seat from the vehicle.
He broke the car window and then took the car seat and brought him out onto the sidewalk, and he didn't have much of a pulse then.
She says a call from someone inside the building tipped off staff that something was wrong in the rear lot.
It's sad. I'm very sad that he didn't make it, but it didn't look good anyway, you know. Too long, I guess. I heard that the car was there from 9 o'clock.
Up until?
Well, when I went out it was 1:45. So it's a long time.
One person is now in custody. Now, we are hearing from a number of residents that the child may have actually been in the care of a caregiver, but we have not yet determined that with Toronto Police. We are still waiting to determine that. Investigators still working actively on this scene. Alan?
Shalima reporting for us tonight. Thank you, Shalima. You know, it's late September, but obviously it is hot out there, and we did a little experimenting this afternoon to illustrate that fact. We placed a household thermometer inside 2 cars that were parked just outside our global studios. And just to give you a sense of this, within 2 minutes, it measured over 49 degrees Celsius. That's 144 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is as high as it could register.
Joining us now is Dr. Samir Gupta. We all know hot cars are a danger. This turned deadly, and it's such a tragic story. Let me ask you, though, Samir, how long does it take for a child to be affected while in a hot car? How many minutes?
So far, it really would depend on the temperature. Like you saw with your experiment, unfortunately, things can become very dangerous very fast, particularly on a hot, sunny day. Studies suggest that, you know, that temperature can rise within the car within 10 minutes by 8 degrees, and it keeps rising. And unfortunately, children are not as well equipped to deal with that heat as adults are, and that's for a couple of reasons. Firstly, they don't sweat as effectively as adults, and, you know, sweat is one of our most effective heat management strategies. The other is that children tend to generate more heat when they move around, and they do tend to move around more than adults.
Okay, what happens medically, though, to the body, to a child's body, when they encounter this kind of heat?
So, you know, the medical term, what we're really worried about is you know, the heat stroke, and the medical term for that is hyperthermia. The definition of that is a core body temperature of 40 degrees, and so the normal temperature being 37 degrees. When the temperature hits 40 degrees, the central nervous system is affected, and the result of that is often starting with confusion, but progressing to agitation and in some cases seizures. Also the heart rate, the metabolic rate goes up, so the heart rate and the respiratory rate go up. And eventually, as that temperature rises to 42 degrees, we start seeing that certain proteins and enzymes in the body stop working. The body goes into a state of inflammation and starts releasing what are called heat shock proteins. Now, these proteins actually cause the blood pressure to drop, and if that goes on for long enough, then the organs will start shutting down one by one, and eventually that unfortunately can be fatal.
Okay, Dr. Samir Gupta, thank you very much for your information on this tragic story.